Right. When you write codes, it's very important that you understand it first. Especially when you open the code later on, you must understand how you have written it, right? And not only you, even the other people should understand, because after you, someone else might be taking over your code. So they should understand how you have done it. So this chapter talks about good practices that you should follow when writing codes. Code readability. So highlight your book, right? You should always try to ensure that any code you write is easy to read and understand. We refer to this as, wait a minute, let me take a screenshot of this, otherwise it gets stuck. Okay, you highlight this. Okay, we should make sure that it is easy to read and understand. We refer to this as readability. Code readability is very important, right? Now you think of your way of writing the code, right? Some of you must have written it like everything together, right? It's so ugly to see, not easy to read, right? Even you can't understand how you wrote it. So hereafter, make sure that you write the code clean and it should be clean and tidy, right? This benefits you and anyone else, right? Who needs to understand how your program works. Right? You will understand, like, I mean, sometimes you might say, okay, it's my way and I understand, I know how to do it. But you have to always look at the other people as well, right? It is surprising how quickly you forget. Try revisiting programs you have written, and you will not be able to understand them easily. Programming is not a solo activity. That's the thing, right? When one day, when in the industry, when you type these codes, not only you, there will be a lot of people contributing to the code. So if everyone follows the standard, it'll be easy for uh, the company, the team to write good codes and good products. Programmers usually work in teams, with each programmer developing a different part of the program. Right, there you go. Right. This only works if they all adopt a standard approach to writing a readable code. Okay. Let me paste this. Okay, now if you look at this code, the programmer who produced the program in figure 2.2 did not follow good practice. There are a number of ways that the readability of this code could be improved. Right. One problem here you can see is yeah. One problem here is you can see that some variables don't make sense. It says num1, num2, right? And what is the purpose of this? You can see it generates a random number using the random library. It has imported the random library. Game is true. As long as the game is true, you ask the user to enter, it's rock, paper, scissors, right? You ask the user to enter either 1 or 2 or 3, and then it generates a random number between 1 and 3, inclusive 1 and 3. And that random number is stored here. Right. If num2 equals 1, if it is 1, the computer chooses rock. And if num2 equals 2, the computer chooses paper. Right. So num2 is representing the computer because it's based on the random number. If num1, else computer chooses scissors, that's 3. So computer chooses an option here based on this random number, and then we enter a choice, either 1 or 2 or 3. And then what happens is if num1 equals num2, print, it's a draw. Else if num1 equals 1 and num2 equals 3, that is rock and what? Rock and scissors. Rock and scissors. You win. Your choice is one, right? I don't know how this works. I have heard about rock paper scissors, but I haven't played that, right? To be honest, right? So if num1 equals 2, that is paper. Num2 equals 1, paper and rock. Paper and rock. Still you win. Num1 is you. 2, that's paper. Num2 equals 1, rock. You win. I don't know. If num1 equals 3, that is scissors. Num2 equals 2, that is paper, then you win. Else, computer wins. Right. Then here you can see text equals input play again y or n. That means we are asking whether you want to play again or not. Right. If text is y, then we set the game to false. Game to false. What? Is that correct? Text input play again y and n. If text equals, sorry, not equal, sorry. If text not equal to y, that means if text is no, right? That means play, yeah, play again no. Maybe we should have put the other way. If text equals n, play again no, right? That means if text is not equal to y, so if he selects no, it is not equal to y, then game is false. Game is false means it goes back and checks whether game is true. Game is not true because game is set to false. If he selects no, that means he doesn't want to continue. So we set it to false. And then we go and check whether game is true. No. So it exits a while loop. Okay, so this will continue as long as he wants to play the game again and again. Right. But there are some problems. What are the problems? Use descriptive names for variables. For example, num1 and num2. See, when I was going through it also, I found it a bit difficult, right? So what they would have done is they would have put some sensible names. Yeah, why do they use equal sign twice? That's a good question. Well, in Python, remember, 2 equals means check is the check. It's checking whether game is equals to true. Single equal means it's an assignment. That means game equals true means here, single equal, we put the value true to this game variable. We put the value true to the game variable. You get it? Single equal means assignment. Double equal means check. So here double equal means you check whether game equals true. Here game single equal true means you put the value true to the variable game. Okay. So remember that's a very fundamental thing, right? So while game equals true, that is checking. Use descriptive names for variables such as user choice and num instead of num1. So num1 doesn't make sense. User choice is better. And for num2, you could have used computer's choice or something like that, right? Add blank lines between different blocks of codes to make them stand out, right? You can see that all these are congested. So you could have use some blank lines, right? We also call it white space to keep space and expand the code for readability. You should not keep too many white spaces at the same time. Add comments that explain what each part of the code does. So you can see that there are no comments. If there are comments, there should be hashtags or there should be triple single quotes, multi-line comments or single line comments. There are no comments here. So it's better to comment wherever possible. No need to comment every line of code wherever possible. Okay? Understand? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so before the end of the class, we are hoping to, yeah, this 3 pages It's a very short chapter, right? Before the end of the class, we are hoping to rewrite this code with better improvement, right? Okay. So what are the techniques? Use comments. Yeah, in Python, of course, comments can be used, no problem at all. Either single line comments or double line, multiple line comments. Descriptive names for variables, yes, fine. But again, don't make them too long. Then the problem is you will do mistakes when typing. And the other thing is uh, it will be really long and it will take time to type. And also remember, if you have multiple words, what you have to do is use camel case, right? Indentation. Indentation makes it easy to see where each block of code starts and finishes. Getting the indentation wrong in Python will result in program not running. You know that Python doesn't use brackets, curly brackets, unlike other the other programming languages. Therefore, Python only works with indentation. So if you get the indentation wrong, Python is going to throw syntax errors. So indentation is not really applicable to what do you say, to Python, right? If it is another subject, if it is a different subject, of course, indentation is fine. So when you're writing for Python, of course, you have to write comments, descriptive names, and white space. If they ask for another point, you write indentation, right? Adding blank lines between different blocks of code makes them stand out. White space, that's line spacing in between lines of codes, right? Okay. So I'm doing only half an hour today till 8:30. Right, this one. Program the following algorithm in high-level language and make it readable by adding comments and indentation. Develop an algorithm for a simple calculator, right? This I will give for homework. Let's do this one, right? Okay, so all of you take Tony and let's do that. X equals 10. Okay, now we have to make it, we have to use all the techniques, right? So set X to 10 is not at all user-friendly. So first I will do it and then you do it, right? Wait, first watch. So I'm going to call this, you can see if you study the program, you can see it says blast off and X is starting with 10. As long as X is greater than 0, greater than or equal to 0, you check whether X is greater than 0. If X is greater than 0, you output X. So it's going to output from 10 starting. Else send blast off. That means greater than 0. No? If X is greater than 0, it will be printed. Can you tell me if it is blast off, what will be the value of X? For
negative number?
Before negative?
0.
0. Right? If X is greater than 0, it's going to start with 1. Right? So when this is 0 or negative, it will come under else, which means blast off. So before coming to negative, it is going to be 0. So when it is 0, it's going to be blast off, right? And then what happens is X is deducted by 1. So X starts with 10 and goes on, deducting 1 by 1. Okay, right. So now what happens is it is expected to print 10 down to 0. And when it becomes, 10 down to 1. When it becomes 0, it's going to output blast off and end the while loop when it becomes what? Becomes what? 10 to 1, it will print. When it is 0, it will print blast off. And can you tell me the value of X when it exits the while loop? Pardon?
So minus 1?
-1. What about others? Do you agree? When the loop exits, will the x be -1? Anyone else? Anyone else? 1. Hey, it can't be 1 because up to greater than 0, it will print that value, right? As long as x is greater than or equal to 0, this will run. When it is greater than 0, it will output. Else means either 0 or minus, but before minus comes 0. That means if it is 0, it will blast off. Then what will be the value of x when it exits? To exit, this while condition has to be false. Now, while condition is x is greater than or equal to 0. So it will become false when x is what? When x is what? Anyone? For the while condition to be false, x has to be what? Come on, come on, come on. Anyone? Yeah, it's negative. Negative means what? What is the next negative value? After this will be greater than 0, this will be 0, and this will be yeah. Anyone? -1. Yeah, correct. So it's going to be -1. Okay. Did you understand? Others, did you understand? X is set to 10. As long as x is greater than or equal to 0, it will check whether x is greater than 0, which means 1 and above. Well, because equal sign is not there. So it will output the value of x. Else means the opposite of this condition, which means it will be 0. If it is 0, it will blast off, print blast off, right? And then it keeps on deducting. So at one point it will be 0 and it will print blast off, and then comes here and it will become -1 because 1 is deducted from 0. When it is -1, it will go back and check the condition here. When it goes back and checks the condition here, right? When it checks the condition, when it checks the condition, what happens is x is -1. X is -1, and here this will go on as long as x is greater than or equal to 0. So now x is -1. So it will exit the while loop. Understand? Okay. Is that clear? Is that clear? All of it? Is that clear? Can I see a thumbs up quickly? Okay, nice. Sanule, did you understand? Sanule, Vishad, Harul, Timetma?
Yes, sir, I understood.
Yeah, Timetma, Vishad, Tarul,
Yes,
Hilojana?
sir.
Okay, so I'm going to code this, right? First, watch. So I'm going to call this, call it as count down. Count down is 10. While x is greater than, right, okay. So while, see, I'm keeping a white space. While count down is greater than or equal to 0, then you check if countdown is greater than 0, print countdown, right? And else print glass door. And then okay, let's keep a few more spaces, right? That's wrong indentation, right? So when you're keeping spaces, you have to be careful like that. And then here it should be inside. Okay, count down equals count down minus 1. Okay, count down equals count down minus 1. Right, let's test it. Okay, can you see? 10 to 1 it printed and then blast off. Okay, now I asked you what will be the value of x or countdown after the while loop. No, so let me print the value and see. Countdown. So I'm printing it after the while loop, right? There you go. It's minus 1. So when it is minus 1, it exits. Clear? Is that clear? Everyone? Okay, now you guys have to type this and run it and test it and send me a screenshot in the group. Then only I can confirm that you did it right. Okay, now I didn't use one thing, right? Technique. I used descriptive names. I used line space, but one thing I didn't use. What is it? Indentation.
The comments.
Comments.
Comments, right? Okay, good. So let me add a few comments. Countdown starts at 10. Okay, here as long as countdown is greater than or equal to 0. Decrease the countdown. Okay. So I have used all the techniques there. So make sure that you write this, test it, and share a screenshot. Then I will give you a thumbs up to confirm that you did it right, right? And take it as a confidence, a boost for confidence. Okay. Yeah, 5 minutes.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, for the exam, will we be given like a scenario and asked to write the code, or are they giving us a pseudocode and then asking us to write the code?
You get both. They will give a scenario and ask you to write, and at the same time they will give a pseudocode and ask you to convert. I mean, you can get both types of questions or one of those. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right. So I'll give this also for homework. Well, before that, let me just show you this import random and this thing, right? Okay, so import random, I'll show you. There's a library called random. Import random. You have to import this random library. What it does is it will bring all the random, all the commands related to generating random numbers. And after that, I can use it like this. Let me put it as computer choice equals random dot rand int 1 2 3, right? 1 2 3. So this is supposed to generate random number between 1 and 3, inclusive 1 and 3, and store it as computer choice. Okay, then I'm going to print it. Print computer choice. Okay. Okay, there you go. When I run 1, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 3, 2, it's going to generate a random number between 1 and 3 inclusive. Okay, that's how we use the random library and the random function. Random dot rand int, that will generate a random number which is an integer, All right. Okay, Vishad has already shared the screenshot. Good. Right, so that's how you use the ran. So I'll give this also for homework. What you have to do is use those techniques and improve this code, right? Okay, and the other homework is this, which we did right now. I will give this also for homework. Simple calculator to perform the 4 arithmetic operations: addition, subtraction, division, multiplication. I'll give you the idea. User has to input 2 numbers. So you can ask the user, enter number 1, enter number 2. And then you have to ask the user whether you want it to be added or subtracted. So you can ask, enter your choice. Enter your choice. Choice 1, addition. Choice 2, subtraction. Choice 3, division. Choice 4, multiplication. And then you can ask for another choice also. You can add another choice and call it exit. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is for exit, or 0 is for exit. Okay. And then, of course, your while loop condition has to be something like this. Okay. Because you can see the last statement is offers the user the option of performing another calculation. That means he should be given more and more chances until he stops the loop. So you can put it like this: while choice not equal to 0. If you want the user to enter 0 to stop the calculator, you can put the condition like this: as long as choice is not equal to 0. So when the user enters 0, it will exit. Get it? While choice not equal to 0. As long as choice not equal to 0, you keep on asking the user, do you want to add? Do you want to subtract? Blah, blah, blah. So when he enters 0, it will go and check whether it is 0. Now it says, as long as it is not equal to 0. So it will check whether it is not equal to 0. Now it is 0. Right? This will continue as long as it is not 0. But now it is 0. So it will exit the while loop. Okay, understood? Is that clear? Yeah. So can you try this also for homework? This is homework, right? Yeah, and this is also homework. And wow, nice. You guys are doing it now. That's good. So don't be lazy. Do it now. Don't postpone. Right? Okay, this is the other homework. You just need to rewrite that and improve with those techniques. Right? All right. Finally, why is it important? Why it is important to make your code easy to read? Because it's then it will be easy to understand. If it is easy to read, you can understand. If it is easy to read, you can spot the errors easily. And also it will make other people understand the code if they want to continue from where you stopped. Outline the 4 techniques that a programmer should use to make the code easy to read. Indentation, comments, descriptive names for variables, and white space or line spacing. Okay, that's it. That's the end of the chapter. Making programs easy to read. 6. You put a marker in your book. 6 is done. Okay, then see you. Good night. I will meet you in the next class, right?
Good night, sir.
Thank you, sir. Goodbye.